never designed for such routings and flights, and the new aircraft will have much more margin. And I think what the safety board always is worried about is the margin we take into account, and this is the only thing that we put into discussion. We should always have some margin because it's not really the final aircraft.
I mean, I have to ask that stupid questions. Why do we fly with these high winds if we barely can make it even with a very advanced and sophisticated tactics? If we have something like 5 knots more, we are in trouble.
Well, I think we are confident that the wind will not be stronger.
We've never flown a traffic pattern with 25 knots of wind.
Well, we flew with 20 knots in the...
No, 20, but not 25. If you fly at 20 knots, you have 10 knots ground speed left to play with and to fly against the wind. Now we are down to 5 knots, which is 50% of the maneuverability.
That's the reason, Marcus, that for me the flight tactics is it should not be a normal downwind.
If it just cannot go forward against the wind anymore, I mean, you're stuck. That's physics.
No, you're stuck, but the highest wind is between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. And 2,000 feet is the beginning of the approach. Then, you know, you slowly go down, so you go out and you get to winds which are below 20 knots. What you should avoid is to be pushed away out of the highways.
No, I mean, you're basically, with the swing speed, you can more or less be at the beginning of the runway and more or less start a forward descent with minimum ground speed forward.
Marcus, maybe you have also to know that André already trained this type of approach several times with Raymond during the 72-hour simulation last December.
One thing is a simulator to play stuff like that, and the other thing is to really do it and have no options anymore. The other thing is there will be quite a lot of turbulence. For me, that looks not like a good day to fly, to be honest.
Personally, I feel confident. I was not 3 or 4 hours ago, but I did a lot of studies, I did a lot of calculation, and I really have the impression that based on what we experience, what I see, and the feedback I get from the weather guys, that's something which can be done in a safe way. If we want to get to New York, we sure have to take situations where the wind is not totally calm on the ground, departure, landing, and so on. It should not be the reason to take risk, but as I said, it's not exceeding what we have done. It's the full moon, so the advantage that we have a very good view. So if I look at all these things, personally, I feel confident.
And we have a gradient that you say you experience in Moffat, so you can say you have the experience.
I'm not so worried about the gradient. I'm more worried about the maximum wind speed at traffic pattern or approach altitude. So for me, 20 would be a good planning value with a little bit of margin, and 25 is still doable in case we have to, and anything above 25 would be, for me, a reason to divert.
It's probably also something that will happen quite a lot when we fly around the world.
It's
never going to be completely calm.
Oh yeah, it will be a good training for them.
Okay, any other comments, Raymond?
No.
Okay, so what do we do next?
Looking at the timing, I suggest we take off at 11:45 Zulu, not later, not like 5.
Pour faire la flushing canopy, Julien et moi, Lima Whisky, j'aimerais la pression des pneus, Peter et Nico, wing check, Daniel il va faire son pilot equipment, les battery hatch, you check battery hatch and you check pre-flight. Tout le monde sait ce qu'il a à faire? Alors feu.
in our final few moments here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, preparing to leave the state of Arizona. Here you can see today's pilot, André Borschberg, making his way to the runway where he will prepare to take off for this flight of over 800 miles, attempting to break the record for absolute distance travelled by a solar aircraft.
Ya ya na ya nigo stan bi sekti dingo perza han tin bi sekko pe o kan dit be kaji dingo na ta si is sekti dingo perza ha ya na ya ya na ya na ya na ya. Oh, God, Heavenly Father, Creator, Great Spirit, blessing on the journey, blessing of the flight, blessing of the wing that carries up into the sky, blessing to the energy and the power. Bless the pilot, both of them, as they journey across the country here. Be with them. And turn to your right all the way around. Aho, all my relations. Amen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Yeah.
It's going to be really difficult because the distance is long. So if the flight goes well, it's a world record for solar aviation. But we need tailwind to bring the plane to Dallas. And there will be a lot of wind for the landing in Dallas. So André had to study really well how to deal with the approach. When you have an airplane that flies 30 knots and you have 25 knots of wind at 300 meters above the ground, 1,000 feet, it's clear that you have to make your approach in a different way because you're almost translating the plane, you know, left or right. You're not really steering the plane in front. So it's going to be a flight full of suspense. We hope we can reach Dallas. And if everything goes bad, maybe it will be an alternate, it will be another airport that we'll have to choose at the last moment. So nothing is taken for granted.
Phoenix Tower from experimental ride pulse will be ready for departure on the runway side. Promotion landing
9A and the galley service door in the rear of the aircraft. Please locate the exit.
Unfortunately, we passed right over the top of him when we completed our turn there, so he is just behind us at this point. So, fortunately, we couldn't keep in sight the whole time.
You know, the flight seems to go very well. Now the landing, we'll have to be really cautious. There's strong winds on the ground, so everything will have to be really calculated precisely. I tell you, there will be a lot of suspense for the landing.
We should also have a calculation for the alternate.
Yeah.
No, the alternate we can start, we will assume exactly this.
Lucky 3. We start from
okay,
Lucky,
yeah.
It's the most northeastern point we have.
And the other time we fix is the takeoff time, and then we see if we have to hold for this, and then we adapt.
Yeah.
And it's good to have some reserve.
Romeo 2 will be the center of the catching group. We have to be a bit closer to the touchdown point than normal for the first one, for the leader, and further for the last one. We want more people today on the runway because André, expecting some wind for the landing, said I want people quite early. He's forced to land short because of the
it seems a little turbulent. If you look at the lights flashing on the center, and you see the red light on one side and the green on the other side, you see that the wing is moving quite a bit. Huh? And I think André is fighting inside his cockpit to keep the wings level.
Yeah, wind check. Tal, wind check.
André de Tal, j'ai 110 avec 5 avec les points d'artiste.
Avec la tourne à donner 12 nœuds.
Runway 13 left closed, unable to issue landing clearance. Landing left will be at your own risk. Wind 130 at 12.
You see quite well that there is much less turbulence than before. Before you could see the lights on the wingtips moving up and down quite a bit. Now it's very stable. So he's below the turbulence. He just has quite a lot of headwind, so he's moving slowly, but the touchdowns should be very smooth. I know it's difficult for André right now, but he's managing absolutely perfectly, but it's really not easy.
Looking good, André. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. I will do a late docking down. If I forget, tu me dis encore, hein, parce que la puissance jusqu'au bout. Docked. That's fine. Secured.
Okay, good job, Andre.
Well done, André, magnifique.
Okay, tu confirmes les moteurs sont coupés et tu peux les bloquer parce qu'il est windmill.
Word for us. Congratulations, halfway across America. How does it feel?
It feels great. It was not an easy one, so tell you we deserve it to be here. It was a very, very difficult flight. The weather looks great, but it's extremely windy just a little bit further up here. So I don't know if you have seen, but I had to make a special kind of approach. I was, had so much support from everyone. So from the weatherman, from the people who have, and they predicted everything so well. So we knew it was going to be difficult, but that's how you learn.
A fantastic.
That's how we progress.
A fantastic team effort. Thank you very much, André. Thank you.
And the adventurer.
This was a flight, I tell you. Oh,
you saw the drift?
Goodness.
18 knots in drifting?
I'm sorry.
Behind the far west. Behind the far west.